Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the Dead Simple Podcast with your boy Jamie, Hate Daddy, whatever you want to call me. And today I've got on the legendary Ty. That's right, you all know him for his legendary catchphrase, "Where's the mid?" or "Junior," or "Return the flag." Ah! Any sort of rage that's associated with CTF, you probably associate with Ty. However, that couldn't be further from the truth with regards to how Ty is as a person. He's one of the most laid back and chill guys I've ever met. He's very easy to get along with. I liken him to somebody like a Shaquille O'Neal, whereas everybody loves this guy. There's nobody who dislikes this guy. And if you dislike him, there's something wrong with you, not him. In our conversation today, we talk a lot about how our paths were parallel to each other, but we had different perspectives because we walked different paths. So yes, they're parallel, but we were just to different things. Ty was associated with the clan Total Control and Z-Damon in the early 2000s that had a lot of drama around it because they had two players that were infamous for cheating, like Dalek and Natural. And then he talked about kind of his transition into Clan R. He talked about his transition as being kind of, the young guy to the older guy and being a community leader and representative with DML and some of the other things that he's done as a captain for various leagues. I'm going to let you guys take a listen to this. It's a really good listen. I really hope you enjoy it. Ty is one of my favorite guys in the Doom community. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks again. All right, Ty, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, Hatred. I'm doing just fine, man.
So, I've been looking forward to having you on, mostly because I think you are probably one of the most unappreciated players in modern multiplayer Doom history. You're not gonna go down. I'm gonna be honest. I think you're a great player, but you're not going to go down as a Dev or a J-Kiss or a Chewy, but my God, you have been around, it seems like, since the dawn of Doom, and you just participate in every competitive event, and somehow, some way, you always find a way to be in the thick of things competitively. It's not like you're just around and you're old and decrepit. You're competitive. You have a chance to win, or you win. And that sort of longevity I think is really impressive. So that's one reason. We've talked a little bit about your accomplishments. We'll get into that, but I'm just kind of opening up the floor for everybody to get a good idea of what you bring to the table. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to get off my soapbox. When did it all begin for you?
First of all, I appreciate all that. So as far as where it began, as far as I remember, I think it was at some family friend's party or whatever, where I first saw someone playing, believe it or not, Doom in the Garage, go figure.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was thinking about it too, mind you, the game came out, around 1995 or whatever, so, it's not like there was internet or something for me to look. Again, I was, mind you, I was 6 or 7 when the game came out.
Right.
But all the same, it wasn't like there was internet for me to look up games to play or something like that. I want to say even around that age, I was playing my SNES. But anyway, so yeah, I first saw the game I first saw someone playing the game in the garage, and I was like, wow, that looks cool. I mean, again, I didn't know about gaming was just getting off the ground, if that makes sense. I didn't know anything about first-person shooters or anything like that.
Yeah, nobody did.
I don't even know if that was a quote-unquote thing back then. But
no,
all
no,
the same,
really.
Yeah, all the same, I saw the game. I was like, wow, that's cool. I'll be honest. I don't even remember if I got to play, if the guy whoever let me play or whatever. I know I watched at minimum. That's it. But anyway, that's when I first saw Doom. I know for a fact I first started playing. I think the version I had was Doom 95.
Mm-hmm.
To go figure. I think I was about, let's say, 8 years old, something like that. But again, to be told, I kind of fell in love with it, to be honest. You know what I mean? It was everything that I thought it may have been. so yeah, I played it for a while. I played that. I'll be honest, I actually when Doom 2 came out, um, let's see, I had a choice. I remember my dad like take me to the store, and I had a choice of getting Doom 2 or Hexen. And believe it or not, Hexen was a game that had interested me too. I don't even remember what it was about, but ultimately I ended up choosing that, and I had to play Doom 2 later. But anyway, eventually, Hexen was fun, but
Yeah, yeah.
we're talking about Doom, so got to play Doom 2 eventually. I'll be honest, I think I had to download somewhere, but anyway, did that, had a good time with that. As far as now, and from there, um, I'll tell you this too. Like, I think my brother like deleted, and he found out I downloaded the game illegally. Actually, I think he had deleted it behind my back.
What?
And I was ticked. And again, back then, I had to download like 56K, so I had to wait like
Yeah.
3 hours or so.
Fucking 15 megabytes taking half a day.
I know. So it wasn't like I could just get it like that, especially if I knew if he just deleted it again.
Yeah.
So that pissed me off. But
Did you whoop his ass?
I don't even remember. I know I
don't
yelled
remember?
at him or something.
Oh, okay.
I probably did. We
you-
fought a lot. I probably.
Was he older or younger?
He's older. He's older.
Okay, all right.
He
You have
probably
an older
whoop me.
brother? Okay, well, whatever, dude.
Yeah,
Yo,
I know.
You use Doom Rage. All right, so go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, no, that's cool. But anyway, sometime later, like, as far as like when I first started like playing online, it actually was on the, what was called Doom Connector, and it eventually became something else in Player Connector. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
Yeah, I know of Doom Connector.
Okay, cool. So that's when I first started playing like online, like for real, for real. Like I missed, the old quote unquote era. Like you were talking about Dev, like his, like playing on DOS. Oh my bad. Hold on. Did you hear that?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind. But anyway, yeah, I kind of missed that quote unquote era of Dwango or whatever.
Right.
Like my first thing was like Doom Connector. Funny enough, I think the first WAD I did play on online was like it may have been Dwango. It may have been like the Dwango 5 WAD.
Well,
I think it
yeah.
was Deathmatch.
Well, that
that's-
makes sense. That was the hot thing at the time, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, go ahead, because I want to interject. I think didn't Ralph play on Doom Connector too? Ralphus. Yeah.
To be honest, I don't remember. He
Okay.
may have.
All right.
I remember
don't know.
him. I definitely remember him early on Z Doom, on Z Demon. But anyway, yeah, Doom Connector was heck of fun. I think back then it was mostly co-op
Mm-hmm.
because that was just the idea of being able to go through a WAD with someone. Just especially like some of the newer WADs at the time, like Memento Mori. I
Yeah.
think that was a big one back then. Just the idea of being able to do that with people, like, kind of blew my mind. Like, and I did kind of hear about Dwango at the time, so it felt like I was trying to make up for lost time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, dude.
And again, I was younger too, so I think when Doom Connector came, I think when I first played Doom Connector, I was like 10 or 11, so I guess that was my time. But anyway.
And how old are you now?
Oh God, 31.
31. Okay, so 20 years strong. Okay, like I said, I had the right time frame. All right.
Oh
I
yeah.
got you.
Oh yeah, definitely. And honestly, from there, like, I could go on to be honest, but I think the rest is history from there. Like, did that, went to Z Demon Zandronum, like,
Yeah.
But
It's interesting because there are a lot of guys at this point when we think of older players, right? We think of guys like me, you, Ralph, Bones, or that, these are just names. I could keep going on.
oh, of course,
But
Radfish.
yeah, exactly. But you would think our backgrounds would kind of be unified. But Doom has kind of been split up community-wise really since its inception. Like, there's never been one big organized community. And yet, I see a player like you, and it's like, your hand is in like every cookie jar. Like you play on any port, any time, anywhere. It doesn't matter to you. But I think I probably identify you as a Z-Damon player just because I think that's where you got your name, right? Like that's where you started playing in events and stuff like that. So talk to me about like the early years of Z-Damon and Ty, and eventually I kind of want to segue into TC because I have so many questions. And when I talk about TC, I'm talking about the clan Total Control. We'll explain more about that as you get into it. So go ahead.
Sir. So, yeah, Z Demon, I want to say started for me around, I have the year right, 2001 or so like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like right after
early versions too, right? Like that. I think that was one of the first versions. Okay.
Yeah, I was 0.99. Yeah, I remember like Ralphus and Bones or whatever beta testing for 1.0 and that being a big thing. Like, oh, when's it gonna come out? It's gonna be awesome. Oh man. But anyway, like, see, that was an interesting. That was a fun time. Like, because as you said, Durango 5, that was a big FFA was a big thing back then.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember Blast. Like, he would have his site up with the stats. Like, you could go like, I remember playing in the summer, like playing for like a whole day, and then seeing my stats rack up on this site. Like,
yeah,
that was awesome.
All the BFG whoring.
Yeah, and I definitely was when I started like developing as a player per se. Like I think I started playing at mouse that with my mouse, and like back when I was playing on Duke Connect, it was just keyboard because truth be told, I didn't actually know any better.
Right.
But anyway, that I was actually, I said Blast. I was actually in his clan called GT, Global Terrorists. And
not a safe name to use now.
Huh?
I said not a safe name to use now.
Oh, no doubt.
Things are a little different.
Oh, of course. But believe it or not, like I was an okay player, but I wasn't that good. And he had started actually doing tryouts. I guess to decide who we wanted to keep, and believe it or not, I didn't make the cut back then.
That's a loss, man.
Yeah, and after our duel, he maybe right then and there say, "Hey, take off. Sorry, man, take off the tag."
Wow.
So that sucked. Oh yeah.
Yeah, this shit probably like ruined you too. It like fucked your whole day up. You're like, God, man.
No, it sucked. I don't know if it wrecked me per se, but it did suck. I think it did kinda, in a subtle way, try to motivate me to, hey, get better.
Mm-hmm.
To see if I really wanted to just be continue being a casual player or, take the next level, try to take the next level at the time, take the next level to be a competitive player, like.
Right.
Let's see, I don't know. I'm not really sure where to go from there. NS. I don't know. Yeah, I was in NS that's the thing, I'm trying to get my timelines right. I think after that, I was in, if you remember Dano, I was in a clan called NS. I think it was different news school. But,
was that J-Kist iteration, or was that before J-Kist?
That's a good question. I don't think I was in J-Kist iteration, unless they were together. But I know I knew Dano as a leader, the clan leader.
Yeah.
And it was, I think that's when I really started to get decent, if that makes sense. I don't know if he even did that many clan wars versus other people. I know he had like a high, like 4 tiers of things, like rookie, veteran, then 2 tiers after that. I don't even remember, like like where the good players are, like elite or whatever. You get my point.
Yeah.
And I do remember getting like from rookie to veteran actually. Yeah.
Arbitrary clan ranks, man. That shit. It's so funny in hindsight, but like back then, that shit was like, oh man,
it was a big deal.
Yeah, I'm about to rank up.
Yeah, no, honestly, yes. It was back when clans mattered, much more than they do now. Yes.
Yeah,
it was a thing,
dude. It was serious.
Oh no! Oh, definitely.
And that shit got personal too, especially in like wars. Like I feel like people don't know as toxic as communities can be, like gaming communities can be.
Oh, in general? Oh, absolutely.
But I'm saying, like, back then, like, whether it would have been Z-Damon, I guess at that point we would have been in the very early stages of Skull Tag, or even some of the older ones, like Doom Connector and stuff. I mean, dude, that shit got personal. And it wasn't the age of the internet either, where, like, you know, people had Facebooks and MySpaces and shit. Social media didn't exist yet.
Oh, of course. Oh, exactly.
But, you know, people would still put things out there. Like, they'd put pictures out there and stuff, whether it be on forums or anything like that. And, like, if somebody got a picture of you were ending up on a YTMD, you know, doing something disgusting, despicable, dare I say, deplorable. Like, if you ended up on a YTMD, you knew you made it. And is that still even a thing? YTMD?
I think it's down. I think it's dead now. I remember that back in the day. Oh my god.
Yeah, and it was like, so basically what would it have been like what's a good way to describe them? Like, it was like you would edit, you know, a photo or something, and you'd put it over something else, and it would play like, I don't know what, like a 10 yeah, like some 10 to 30 second clip, whatever you put in. Like, the most infamous one is, you know, I'm not even going to say it. It's the one with, yeah, I'm not even going to say it. But there were some bad...
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not going to say it. It's not okay. But that kind of puts in perspective, like, how bad some of these were.
Oh, yeah. Real ones know, right?
Yeah, dude, like, fuck. I mean, people got doxxed and shit. Do you remember when they were doxing people and putting their information on Challenge TV comments?
Oh, I'll be honest. I feel like I haven't even heard half of it. But yeah, I remember a couple.
Yeah. It was different, man. Like, those clans hit. And I gotta be honest, man. Like, TC was at the heart of all of this shit, dude. Like, you had two of the most infamous trolls in that clan. What was it fucking like? Like, what was... Because, I mean, back then, like, we looked at TC like they're a cheating clan, so, like, everybody had that reputation with them, even though, like, Ty's not a fucking cheater, right? But, just tell me, because I have to fucking know.
Oh, my God. Honestly, it was a heck of a time. Like, the thing, I'll say this, like, Nacho and Dow, like, they treated me well. Like, that was a good thing. Like, they treated you like boys.
Right.
Like, it felt like, yes, despite our infamously, it did feel like a real clan. Again, but I think by then I was a very good player. I think I, you know, I don't know my reputation, not even as far as cheating, but I knew I was a very good player. I did feel like more comfortable. I felt like I was, you know.
Oh, you were a good player for sure.
Yeah. So, but as far as TC, it was a great time. I think that's the thing. I think maybe maybe because I knew deep down I wasn't cheating, the whole thing didn't rub on me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll be honest. I'm just gonna keep it real. I wasn't sure for sure if at the beginning if they were cheating or not.
Right.
I think once, like, guys, like, started investigating it, it started becoming, oh, okay. And I think later on it did kind of feel like it put me in a bad spot. Like, I still want to do it again. I thought they were cool, but as people, I think they were cool.
Yeah.
I'll just be honest. It wasn't like they were like, oh, on top of that, they're assholes. No, I thought they were very good people. That's part of the reason I think at the time I joined their clan.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a little bit of, so I still keep doing this. And it wasn't like I wanted to, you know what I mean? I didn't know for sure. So I didn't want to confront them like, hey, dude, are you really doing this? You know what I mean?
Would it have mattered? Like, be real.
What do you mean?
Like, even if you would have came to them and said, are you cheating? Like, it's not like... By the time it was known that they were cheating, it wasn't a secret, right? And I know that there was definitely a period where... I'm not going to say it wasn't in question, but if you remember, Raider and the ZD administration initially came to their defense and said, no, they're not cheating. There's no way. That was after they found out that there was an exploit in ZDaemon and people figured out how to implement foreign software into it, such as, ZD Hook and the likes. Right. But, yeah, stuff. Dude, like, even if you would have said something, like, what difference would it have made, right? And if those are your boys, like, you don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It was kind of like that, too. Like, boy, like, I really want to leave over not knowing for sure. Like, it was tough at the time. Like, and, I remember, you were talking about the administration. As far as I remember Dev going hard on it.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
I remember him going on, like, a whole minute thing on it. And I wasn't really sure what to say, because, again, I didn't know for sure.
Right.
Like, I remember I think I remember looking at the video, and I'll be honest, it seemed apparent to me at the time that, oh boy, Natural shouldn't be able to do that. Specifically, I remember it being Natural.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, that was an interesting time. And the thing, so, and you know what the funny part is? Like, I think when it got more tenuous with as you probably remember, DUI.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know if you actually remember at the time, like, DUI and TC was went at it.
Oh yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't even remember if we did a clan war, but we just beefed.
No, they didn't. Beefed, they backed out. Dude, no, they backed out from everybody. They were like the big dog on the block that barked, but they never bit. And you guys, the height of TC would have been around that time, because if you remember, you had Stin that was trying to face them, and they kept dodging us, and we got part of a clan war playing, and we were whooping their ass, and they just disappeared, and yeah, man, like,
yeah, that was Warcraft, right? Something like that.
I don't fucking like. Half of the players that were quote unquote DUI players, right, were not even original members of the Dwango servers. Like, they eventually just turned into a clan that tried to recruit the best players. But I think the problem with that clan is that it was like based off of this ideology that we're like these old schoolers, these original doomers, if you will, right? And it failed because there wasn't a unified goal. There wasn't a purpose. Like, every clan has to have some sort of purpose, some sort of organized collective mindset. Like, we want to be the best, we want to be competitive, and like some of their players were like that, some of them weren't, but they all talked shit like they were, I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of mythology, right?
Yeah. Dude, just
to their credit, I thought a lot of them were good. Like,
they were good players for sure. They were absolutely great ZY players, but they were dicks too. Many of them were.
No doubt. Yeah, I was saying real quick on DUI and TC, like, it got to the point where we, like, because TC had their own clan servers, DUI had their own clan servers, and we were just kicking each other out of our servers.
Yeah,
it got that bad. And
it got Doom.us, right? Was the TC server.
Doom.us, yeah, sounds about right.
It was in New York? So. Wasn't it the East Coast?
It was definitely, yeah, I had great ping. I remember that. It was definitely East Coast.
When has Ty not always had great ping?
I don't know.
Well, no, you just...
I was fortunate.
Well, I'm just saying it's your location more than anything. I mean, you live on the East Coast, so...
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think, oh, yeah. I think I remember pinging as low as, I was in college at the time, in Rhode Island. I was pinging as low as 9 to DUI. It was awesome.
Shit's gross, dude.
I know. I got a couple of people pinging that low.
Yeah, but that was like a cluster of players too. Like, it wasn't, and it's no coincidence, right? Like, most people would have been by like the big servers, so it only makes sense, right? Like, it's not that unusual.
Yeah, especially now, like, with technology and crap.
Well, it's better too now. Yeah. Like, the netcodes aren't so ping reliant. Like, lower ping helps, but you can play with. I mean, you and I are about to play in a European CTF league, and it feels fine. Like, I have 100, 120 ping, and it's like, whatever. I don't even notice it.
Oh yeah, I'll say this. As much as I like ZD, like if you were a higher ping guy, you were screwed.
Oh, back
It felt
then,
like
dude, it was over with. You
yeah,
remember you had guys like Turska that came over here, and Turska's like one of the best duelists ever, so you know he can frag his ass off. And like
right.
he's relegated to a runner because of pink. Like it was that impossible. You know what I mean?
Um, oh, of course.
So,
It was
and that,
ridiculous.
to be fair, like that, nobody had figured that out at that time. Like nobody figured out how, they had just implemented the unlagged. So that was at the time in many people's mind, if you remember, like that was considered a mistake. Like, no, don't implement this. This is a horrible idea. In hindsight, like, okay, well, they've gotten it right, but
That's the thing. I'll be honest, I don't remember it like, I don't remember that much about, ooh, on like this, on like that. Like, uh, I'll be honest. Again, part of it probably was because, like, most of the leagues were US based, so I didn't have to deal with it as much as, like, you say, a Tushka would, or even Zakin, or you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Well, it's
but,
different. But yeah, go ahead.
no, I'll just say, like, yeah, lucky me, I didn't have to worry about on lagged and all that crap. Like,
Yeah, it's difficult to put it on anybody, right? Like, first of all, Z-Daemon was the only well-developed port for most of that time. And we're talking roughly, let's say, our time frame is the early 2000s. So
oh yeah,
between
back then,
2000
yeah.
to 2006, 2007, like there weren't even really that many alternatives, and if there were, they weren't very busy. And the lag,
Uh,
the net code was. I mean, I was newer, so I didn't even know, to be honest with you. Like you were around before I was, but I mean, you and I are also like similar. That I don't think you and I ever got super deep into politics in Doom. Like we definitely had
right.
sides, but like I never got into the nitty gritty of like knowing all of these different things about the engine, knowing all of these different things about the physics of the game and balance decisions. Like I never got into that. I mean, I would say some stupid misinformed shit like any teenager would. But like you and I weren't like, I mean, we both were, right? Like we were both, but we weren't like sitting there studying like the Doom engine. I didn't give a shit that
Right.
much. So I'm assuming, and I figured you were kind of the same because you never got, if somebody came after you or TC, you'd be on the forums ready to fucking blow up in a heartbeat with your little passive aggressive smile at the end.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I was
So
again. Oh yeah, I was low to tease. I'll say that, and yeah, I wasn't afraid to go after anyone on whether it's myself or the clan, and I I've always I don't think I've always I've always been glad about that about myself. I didn't let people push me around, even if it even my mouth did get me in trouble at times. I think Raider just I remember Raider having to ban me for a week as a way to tell me to calm down. I remember that.
I think if you got
Like,
only a week banned, you did well at that time because I mean there were some hormonal unstable teenagers on those ports.
oh, no doubt.
It was bad,
Uh,
man. Like, and the worst thing is it was like this bad balance of like you had us who were, because you're what you said you're 31. I'm about to be 33 in 10 days.
uh-huh. Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm maybe. I'm not sure. We'll see. I'll let you know. But it's more about the fact that here we are, right? Like we're 16, 17 years old,
Uh-huh.
and we're playing against like 30-year-olds. And some of these 30-year-olds were like really unstable individuals. I definitely think that for me, and tell me if this is true for you,
Yes, sir.
I didn't want to ever treat the newer generation of players the way we were treated by the older generation. They shit on us, right? Like DUI, the OS guys, like everything we did was wrong. We weren't skilled. See, like, do you remember when they would say like CTF isn't even a real competitive game mode? Like the only way that one could dictate skill is through duel or team deathmatch, and nobody even played team deathmatch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Ah,
I mean, again, you might not have been like I was in the thick of that, and that was an attitude that was definitely prevalent amongst a lot of those older players. And like every chance I got, like you mentioned DUI, like we're older and we're better, and it's like we'll shit on you. And I mean, like I said, there were some guys who I think were just horrible people, like Trigger, who would go around like servers saying the N word and shit, but like harassing players and shit, and somehow he doesn't get banned because they're boys with Raider or whatever. I don't, again,
Oh,
gist of the story is a lot of unstable teenagers with some pretty unstable 30-year-olds did not provide a good mix, but I just never wanted to be like that. I said, I'm going to be more of a mentoring type. I'm going to provide knowledge, structure, and advice for any new player who wants to know. I definitely feel like that's the case for you. I mean, you've always been a captain in whatever league or whatever, game mode that you play in, you always take on a leadership role. So talk about that, because I don't know if it's something you are doing like knowingly doing it or if it's just something that kind of happens, but I'm interested to hear your take on that.
oh man, where do I start? Oh, okay. I want to talk about the CTF thing, but either way, I'll
Take your
say.
time, man. We got time.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, hold on. Let me go back on the CTF thing. Like, it's funny you said that about like guys like Trigger, because I remember wanting to be on you remember when they had like the USA versus Europe thing?
Yeah. The
So,
first and the second one. I wasn't on the.
really?
Do you remember? Because No Name was the one who did the second one, but I know there was a first one too, and that was with like Ralph and Bones and
Trigger, I think.
yeah, might have been. It was like DUI and UD guys.
Right. So that's my thing. Like, so it's funny when you're saying like people were saying, "Oh, CTF isn't a real mode. We got a duel." But it seemed like players like them were the ones that were trying to do events. Like, again, there weren't that many events like that outside of a USA in Europe. Like IDL wasn't until 07.
Right.
But anyway, it's funny. It's funny. Like, it felt like, I don't know. It felt like CTF was a respected enough mode. Did people still want to duel back then? Of course, but it's funny you say that. Like, if that's the attitude they really portrayed, because it seemed like every event. Cause I remember wanting to be on the first USA, and I ended up getting on the third event, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the rosters were already set and stuff, and it was with like Trigger and Angel, if you remember her.
Yeah.
And players like that. So I don't know. I never thought of people if people were really beating up on CTF. I guess I missed that. And I'll be honest. I think I would have taken a break or something like from Z Demon. I wasn't like one of those people who say, "Oh, I'm leaving ZD." I think I just took a break. And I think one of the reasons I came back was because of CTF. I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh
man.
wow, they have this." Damn.
Yeah, man. Doom CTF
Yeah.
is like unparalleled.
I know.
Yeah, there's like no. I have yet to find anything that gives me the thrill that Doom CTF gives me.
I know.
But talk about the leadership thing, because I want to hear about that, because I think that's a really important thing. I think guys like us take on that role, whether willingly or unwillingly or knowingly or unknowingly. So I definitely want your perspective from that.
Yeah, like, to answer your question, I think it was more like a what's the word? Not like an intentional thing,
Mm-hmm.
per se, because I think at the time I just wanted to play. Like I said, I just wanted to play. I think for the most part I just wanted to play. I think I'm just a competitor, so I was
Right.
like, hey, again, Doom, like you said, Doom CTF is a bomb, so hell, why not play as long as I have the time? And I guess again, as like as we got older, new players came in, and I think like you said, we did want to at least like again, I don't know if I was ever considered a leader per se
Mm-hmm.
over the years, but I didn't want to be that guy who ran people out of the community, if that made sense.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And again, I think anyone knows I can be a hard ass in CTF. Like, hey, where's the mid? Or like so.
All the memes, dude. Oh, we're going to touch on that. Don't worry.
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, my point is, I don't know if I've ever was considered a leader per se, but I did want to over time, like, help people get into the game. Like, I don't know if I'll be a mentor, but if someone had a question, try my best to answer. One thing I did I wanted to do was, like, as you probably know with DML, we started a DMLB league for, like,
Yeah.
basically a minor league.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, I could, what, why not? I can be a coach. And The first season I enjoyed because, I had a team that wanted to practice and all that and kind of wanted to learn. And I kind of did best I could to help, help them out and say, hey, this is how you want to play this map. This is how you want to defend, like, in this part of the map. And it was fun. I'll be honest, it was fun helping, helping them through that. And, I'll be honest, I think there was one season where people didn't show up at all. Like, that was a waste of time. But, to the extent I got the opportunity, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know if it was ever, I think, you know what I mean? It just came to that, though. I don't think it was ever, like, an intentional thing. It took a while before I could even be considered one of the old guys. Like I said, I started when I was like, even Z Demon when I was like 12 or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's like, it's interesting. I mean, if you remember, we had an IDLB back in the day too, and it's hard to get.
Yes, you did.
I don't want to call it a farm system. I think a minor league is more appropriate because you're trying to develop players who have an interest.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about it. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying it's a waste of time or anything, and it's an admirable thing to do, but I don't know that players that get put into these B League teams are going to ever get significantly better to the point where they're going to have a chance to raise up and compete, in the majors, if you will. Because I think that where you really hone your skill and where you really get better is in private CTF games. Because that's where you are competing with, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's sink or swim. I think Ralph put it best when he talked about this on his on the podcast that Bones did with him, the Doom is Dead podcast. And he said, I mean, Prive has, like, this really competitive but at the same time toxic trait of kill or be killed. And what ends up happening is if you don't have a bunch of guys that are really conscious about getting everybody a chance to play, you'll just see the same 6 to 8 players play over and over, and guys don't want to stick around for that. So I think what ends up ultimately happening is guys lose interest, because if you're not willing to stick around for that and compete with those guys, it's going to be difficult to get that kind of experience even in an organized structure in a B League when you're talking about having maybe some watered down competition. But that doesn't mean that's a bad thing. I think ultimately you're giving people playtime who would have otherwise not gotten it, so I think it's a good thing.
Right.
But I think it's hard because in most instances when it's been tried, it has not been successful. People don't show. People don't really compete a whole lot. People don't practice a lot. But it sounds like this DMLB last season was actually pretty good. So I'll let you go ahead and take the floor on that.
Yeah, I think it was I'm glad we got the players we did. Again, I'll be honest. My team didn't. I think I did place 2 guys on my team because I think they just up and. I think one guy said, "Well, I only want to practice, but I don't want to play." Like, what? Like,
yeah, you got to practice.
That made no
brother.
sense.
Yeah.
Right. No, yeah, practice, but he didn't want to actually play in the game. That was the thing.
Well, wait. So he said he wanted to practice but not want to play.
Right. Exactly.
So why are you practicing?
I don't know why he joined. I told him you could have just been around to help other teams practice
That's
if you didn't want to play.
Yeah, that's odd.
Right. I think another player just lost interest. So, but anyway, the point is, like, I think apart from my team, I think it did help players get a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I think were kind of good. I'll just say it, like Lagmaster is a good example. Like he's I think he's good. I think he could start. Oh wait, get on the team. I'm sorry.
Was he on? I don't think he was on a DML. He wasn't. He didn't make a Vengeance roster.
Oh, okay. No. I mean for DML though. But anyway,
I don't think he did. Because I remember looking at the rosters the other day because I was, Wiz was telling me that Ion is in the finals, and I was like, oh, okay. Let me see who he'd be playing against. And I looked at the rosters. I don't think Lagmaster made a roster.
Okay. Well,
maybe he's played in. I don't know.
No. Okay. But the thing is, like, all right. So anyway, let us use him anyway. Like he's an example of a player that probably would not have gotten like the exposure without a DMLB. Because I don't think, as far as I know, he's an old player, but
older.
Like I think he's from Z Demon, but I don't think he was really doing Priv or anything like that. Like I don't think a lot of people really knew who he was, and again, I don't know how Zach feels about this, but I think that is one of the good things about DMLB. Like maybe it won't like if you're someone who is like quote unquote a DMLB level player.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not gonna put in the extra effort to get better, DMLB by itself might not help. But if you're someone who's pretty good but just hasn't gotten a chance before, I think that's where you can go play in a DMLB game and people are like, "Oh, who the hell is that?" Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And before you know it,
people
you
are
could
picking
you could start getting picked. Like, this isn't necessarily DMLB, but I think Gino's a good example. Again, he played Priv, but
Mm-hmm.
he's someone who played Priv for a while, and this is for like Sicko. If you remember that league, Skull International CTF League, before because he was in the free agency, he
Right.
played in a couple Priv games, and everyone wanted him. I wanted him, and Bones told me, no, he was already taken. Sorry. I think in my opinion, that's where DMLB benefits players. As far as Priv in general, I'll be honest, it's always been like a little, like the $1 million question. Like, how do we like utilize Priv so like newer players can, get their quote unquote fair share of time, where they're not having to wait like 5 or 6 days. I'll be honest, like I don't know if I could have done that. Like, I'm lucky enough where like maybe the most I have to sit is like 2 games, unless I piss everyone off and everyone benches me because of that. I know that's happened a couple of times, but I think that's the thing. I don't know if there's ever like a right answer. Like I know like everyone's gonna complain about it. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
But it's a tough thing because I get it. Like, how do you get a new players in? How do you attract people to it? Because it's not like, and I think especially now, it's not like at least back in the day you had pub, like you had CTF pub where you can go into a server with 16 players if you couldn't get into Priv. And it's not like that's not happening as much these days.
Yeah, there's not.
So,
you don't see a lot of pub. I
right.
can't even tell you the last time I've seen one that's been super active that started on its own. You have a lot of different like MDF events. I know ZCA does events too, but those aren't the same thing as like a public CTF game just spontaneously starting and exploding.
Right.
And I'm with you. I don't know that there's a simple answer, right? There's not a simple answer. And we're leaving out the $1 million point here. We're talking about a game that's 30 years old, right? Like,
yeah, of course.
You're going to have a hard time getting players just by virtue of that. And I think we do a good job, but I think some of it is just like a culture that's established in private CTF games. I definitely think the culture is better now in private CTF than what it was 10 years ago.
Oh, no doubt.
Like 10 years ago, it's like if you sucked, you got banned. Like, that's not good, Now, like you said, it's the same boat for me when I jump into a private CTF game. I might not get picked. A lot of times I'm playing on Zandronum where I'm not as familiar. I'm a little bit more now. I've practiced a lot in the last couple of weeks on it, but it's like that too, where it's like I might miss a couple games, but generally I'm going to be in every other game, and I'm like, no. Like, if I get elected to captain, I'm like, no, who hasn't played? Let's get this guy.
Right.
I don't give a fuck about winning. That doesn't mean I'm not trying to win. But like, if I lose a private CTF match, that's not the end of the fucking day for me. Like, I'm not gonna be like, argh. Like, who gives a shit, right? Like, I care about getting better myself. And if I got this guy on here who's a little bit newer, this is his fucking moment. Because I remember the first time I got picked in a private CTF match, and at the time I was considered a very good player in the dueling arena, but not a CTF player, and it was fucking terrifying. You know what I mean? Really? Everybody's running in circles around you. You're playing on these maps that you really don't know or understand. You don't even know what you're supposed to be doing, right?
Oh, I hate that. Yeah.
And it's like, this is it. Like, this is do or die. And it felt that way a lot. Like, every time I would play as a newer CTF player when I was integrating into the Prives. That's what would happen. You know what I mean? And it would be like,
no, of course.
Fuck. Like every time I'd get picked, I'd be like, don't fucking drop the ball. Don't drop the ball. And I had a lot to work with. Like I was a very skilled player mechanically. I just didn't know what to do. A lot of these guys are, they need a little bit of polishing mechanically. And in addition to that, they need coach. But they're never going to get better if we don't put them in the game and give them a chance. And then the second thing is not fucking flame them. Like, yes, don't flame them. Like, don't shit on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, they play bad, whatever. Like, who gives a shit? Say something constructive or don't. And I actually think somebody who's done a really good job with that is Caboose. Like, he goes out of his way to give players advice, and he's not always the most concise person with his thoughts, but I mean, he will give any and every single person, a 30-minute shtick on this is what you have to do. This is CTF. This is strategy. I respect that. Like that's a cool thing.
Right.
And I think that's what we need more of. And I think that's the best we can do. And activity, leagues, keep having leagues. Look, man, Vengeance just had 41 signups. DML gets 40 to 50 signups. WDL will probably get 60. We keep doing that, then it'll be around, and we'll get players here and there who come in, and players that'll go, and it'll stay active as long as it does.
Oh, of course. So, I'll say real quick on Priv, oh god, I now it's coming back to me how bad it was. Oh man, and I'll be honest, I don't want to be. I don't want to pretend you were talking about flaming people. I was not above if we get. I remember as I said back in the old day, if you get 5-0, you're not happy. You're not happy. You're like what the hell happened?
We were all toxic. It wasn't just one or two people. It was all of us.
I know. It's insane. And you were talking about you not knowing your position. Nothing. I'll be honest. Nothing ticked me off more when you play a game, we go into a game and we're not sure what we're supposed to do.
Oh man, yeah.
That always annoyed me. Especially to this day. Cause that's usually how you get blown out. But either way, you're definitely. I agree on Caboose too. He's again, to be honest, he's much better at it than I am. You were talking about, me being a leader and all that. I think that's something I know the game theoretically, but I don't know if I could it's hard for me to break it down for someone like that, if that makes sense. But anyway, I do like how the what do you call it? The culture for Priv has improved. That people do start asking, hey, who hasn't played yet? And then we'll pick that player over someone who we know is probably better, but
Oh yeah.
Probably played 3 straight games. Buddy, you can take a seat. And again, sometimes that's been me. I know, and you know what? That's cool with me. And you know what? I'm good with that. I'm good with a culture being that way, especially knowing how back then, you just said, if you do suck that badly back in the day, you could get kicked out. I'd be kicked out.
Oh, dude, they're going in on you 100%, and it's gonna be ugly. They're gonna talk shit. It's gonna be my bad. I was bad at a video game for 10 minutes. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck. And I think back then they used to be 15-minute rounds, didn't they?
Oh, I forget. I keep forgetting about that, dude. I do.
Fuck.
But yes, you're right.
And the maps were grindy too, so a lot of times you'd be sitting there getting fucking beaten into the ground, but it'd still be really hard to score. So it would be a one-sided match, but you'd lose 2-0, but it felt like you lost 50-0.
Right.
Yeah,
the game's already over. Oh wait, there's still 6 minutes left.
Yeah, and you're like, fuck. And to put it into perspective for people who haven't played CTF or played a lot of it, a minute in Doom CTF is an eternity.
Oh yes.
So much can happen in a minute. 6 minutes is fuck. I've got to be here another hour.
I know.
That's how it feels. But it's different. I mean, we're you know how it is, man.
Of course.
We used to play in a much more, I don't dare I say, more competitive league with the IDL, because we were probably younger and Doom was at a much, not necessarily a higher level of play, but the competitiveness was much more fierce, much more polarizing than it is now. So we would play, you know, I think I've mentioned this on every podcast I've done, but like, dude, we played 8 to 10 week regular seasons. That's in fucking insane.
Oh yeah.
Like, we committed 2 to 3 months out of the year, twice a year.
I still don't know how I did it.
Dude, God help you if you were on a terrible team. You were held hostage for 3 months. And we did that shit. And we did that shit.
Oh my god.
That's why I ended up captaining, dude. Like, nah, fuck that.
And you know, I'll say this real quick too. I think that's, you may remember. I think my captain originally Envy. I think he had dropped out, and that's how I first became captain for the IDL. And you might remember that I traded for. He was called Brom, so hello, I traded for Brom, and then he left again. But that's how I became captain. And even I knew I think I even knew early on, if I'm gonna do this, be a captain, control my, to a degree, to control my own destiny. But oh yeah, either way, I think I played virtually every season of IDL.
You were in every season. No, you were in every season because you played in the first couple of seasons. So in the first season, I went into the mid-season draft. You were in the season. The second season, I think I got drafted by Rock King, but I no-showed. That's the season you won the Master Bowl with Chewy and Cassiano.
Yep.
And then the third season, I might have done the same thing, and maybe another mid-draft and dropped out and just no-showed. Then I didn't.
Draft. Oh my god.
Yeah, they didn't do those for very many seasons. They only did it, if I remember correctly, didn't they only do it for like the first few seasons because it was like, okay, the league was still new, we were just trying to get players. And
something like that.
I didn't come back to like season 8 after that. So there's a lot of shit I missed because I disappeared from Doom for like a year between 2007 and 2008. So I know for you were active, but I mean, chime in, man, because you were a captain. I know I came in and you were fucking captain of the Killing Browns, and that's like been your team ever since. Like, when I think KGB, it's not right if Ty's name isn't next to it.
Oh yeah, I know.
We were division rivals for a little bit because I took over EBL.
Right. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, good times.
We're old.
I know. And the thing, that's the funny thing. Again, I can't believe I did that bad. I'll tell you, that's how much I think I love Doom CTF, as cliche it sounds to say. Like, that's why I think that's like back then, like, I think it's fortunate I didn't have too many sucky seasons per se. But I think part of the reason I was able to put up with playing for like 8 weeks or however long it was is because I was like, I was having fun.
Yeah. Always a blast. Fun.
Yeah, and that's part of it. Because that said, I'm glad we don't do that anymore. I think back then I was just young.
We were younger too, right? but the try-harding was fun too. Like, I loved practicing. Like, fuck yeah, like, let's practice every night and get better, and like seeing that progress. Like, that's awesome. But I'm with you, man. Like, now it's like, can we just get to the part where we get to the game and I don't have to spend 2 to 3 hours, maybe 3 to 4 nights out of the week practicing beforehand? Because I'd rather take that time, that 2 to 3 hours every night, and do something else. But that's it, right? Like, you have to I still think you have to have that drive in order to play. Like, if you don't practice, I don't think you could just show up to games, even still. And I think the level of play is so good now because of comms that if you're not practicing, you're going to get run over.
Oh yeah, I think that's been a game changer too. Like, I think the very first season I really used comms was like season 5 or yes, let's just say the season I had Mike, Mikhail, Oath and Dev. I forget if it was season 5, 6, 7, but either way, I think that was like the very first season. Right, where I think we used Ventrilo, not even TeamSpeak.
Yeah.
Which I've used for a couple seasons, and it was a different. I'll be honest, it was an adjustment. It was an adjustment for me back then. Like I think I actually used push to talk, so I had to press some other button while trying to move around to talk. Like, and then I figured out, okay, if I use voice chat, I don't have to do that anymore. But anyway, like, it was even that it was different having to play, communicate. Hey, this guy's coming out from this side. There's two coming in. Like that was something that took me it may take me a couple seasons to really get down pat. If that makes sense.
No, for sure, dude.
It's underrated. It's an underrated part of the game.
It's hard, dude, because it moves so fast, and like you have to be able to call shit out like that. I still struggle with some things. Like I'm still like, and it's like, did you even say a word? No. Like nothing happened. Like I tried, but words didn't come out. It's fast, man. Like I don't have to tell you.
Oh, of course. But yeah, like again, it's I don't know. I don't even have words.
Yeah.
Like
well,
tough.
I mean, what about like other game modes? Have you been involved in other, game mode tournaments, events other than CTF?
Oh, of course. Let's see. I think around 07 was a big. See, that's the thing. Like, that's not 07. 09. That was a big year for like I feel like mods because it's just so many. I think Goals versus Human that come out at the time.
Yeah, I remember.
You heard of that?
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, and a lot of players like Amar and Legion, who had eventually migrated to CTF, came from playing Goals versus Humans. Like, the community was that big back then. Like, we had like core players, playing that. Like, you had I think Necris. I don't even know if you know him, but he was a guy who was very good at Goals versus Humans.
I'd probably know him if I don't know. It doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, it was like a mole. Like one team's goals and others humans, but you had a lot of people. You'd have like 32 people in a server at once at a time.
Oh, I believe it.
It was a hell of a time. One mode that I love, probably one of my favorite, like Go Tag mods, Jump Maze. Like because the thing is, it's not. I mean, it still feels like Doom to the extent like Zandronum, Skulltax as Zandronum can, but different thing. Cause you're just trying to get to the end of a level while jumping. Very few maps have monsters. You're just trying to maneuver around.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, sorry, you gonna talk? Or?
No, I was agreeing with you. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Okay, my bad. Okay, so the thing about Jump Maze is that, back then it was fun. It was fun. It was its own thing, but just the skill level that players have taken it to is just it's amazing. Like even I'm not there. They're like Poto, Tiger,
yeah,
Lightning if you know him, but it's crazy because the thing is you can just go in there, play a few maps for fun and be done with it and say, hey, it was just a good time. Or you can try to take it to the level that those guys do, where they can get through a map in like a half minute, when most people would get through it in like a minute,
hours.
Like 2 minutes or something like that. You know what I mean?
I can't even do that shit, man. Like that's
right.
So much. Do you remember Time of Death? He was like the first rocket jumper on Z-Damon, and he used to make like videos of him setting records, like speed running rocket jumping.
Oh wow!
I don't
I do
know.
remember him.
Yeah, like I don't know if there's really a community for that. I mean, speedrunning community is huge, but I don't know if it includes rocket jumping. But he used to do like the first couple of rocket jumping WODs, if you will, that had come out in the mid to early 2000s. I mean, I don't remember the times, but he was doing them about as fast as one could do them. And
wow.
I mean, it was just like impressive, and all the videos that he would record, and it was you're right, man. Like Did you ever play Skull Tag Survival with us?
Oh yeah, oh man, that was an interesting time. But yes, I did. That was a good time.
Because there was, I don't think there was any other ports at that time that supported survival. It was just Skull Tag, and we would play stuff like Speed of Doom, Sunder.
Yep, I remember that.
And then we had that goofy ass Coochie wad that when you died, your player turned into a zombie that was like an overpowered Doom Marine that would throw headless kamikaze guys at you that insta-gibbed you. And they could also revive enemies. I don't know if like we played with that. It was like Complex Doom before Complex Doom existed.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that. I'll be honest.
Oftentimes it would like break, and like sometimes randomly, if you would kill the zombie Doom Marine, he would throw out like a rune or like a BFG 10K.
Oh wow.
So it added like a really interesting dynamic to the survival, because some of these WoDs, like Speed of Doom, was already really hard as it was. Like Sunder was already really hard as it was.
Mm-hmm.
But then you add in this extra patch WoD that gave you that element of, if you die, your whole team gets punished for it. So it was like survival with like anti-survival mechanics. And it was a lot of fun. And we would like strategize sometimes for like 30 minutes on like how we're going to deal with this. Like, how are we going to fucking do this? And it would be pretty cool. I mean, I definitely feel like I improved my movement a lot playing in that, because like some of those maps like required you to cut corners and be really quick. You're like, you'll die. So,
oh yeah, I remember that.
So, yeah.
I think if
go ahead.
No,
you're good.
I was gonna say I think those are my train of thought. My clan are like, I think we did like some survival just like 2 weeks ago actually, but I'll be honest, like mods like that, Complex Doom, Hard Doom, like I never been a big like monster mod or weapon mod guy like that. I'm more a guy that wants to just play like the next new map, but I think people have done some crazy stuff like that. I'm like,
yeah, man.
Holy crap, something.
It's insane, like how far the modding has gotten.
I know, like it keeps the game fresh. Like, so I'm always for that.
It's a good thing too, right? Like all of the invasion WoDs are like fun as fuck, right? Like,
oh my god,
there's so much more. Like we are competitive players by our trade, right? Like we are multiplayer Doom competitive players, but there are so many other game modes than just CTF and dueling that Doom has to offer that are just a fucking blast.
Oh, I know.
And I would say, I would say survival or invasion is probably my second favorite game mode right now, behind CTF. Honestly.
Oh yeah, survival I've always loved. I think there was a time like, I want to say 2012, 2013, like they'd have like some Saturday, I forget what they call it, like Saturday Survival or something like that.
Yeah, Z-Damon, right?
No, actually Zandronum. I think it was still Zandronum back then. But
okay.
Yeah, but they have like they'd have, I think it was called Saturday Night Survival, and they play a lot like a survival WoD every Saturday. I think I had done that with them for a couple months, maybe like half a year. Like it was. I'll be honest, that was a good time. Like that was a popular event. Like, you'd have like 10 or so people in the server at once playing it.
Oh,
like, that was good stuff.
The Z-Damon, like when they run their survival, even now, they'll put 30 people into a server. Like, people love survival. Like, it's a fun fucking game mode, especially if you have a good WoD for it.
Oh yeah, I think I was in it a couple weeks ago actually. Oh, it was crazy.
Dude, it's so fucking wild. Like, do you ever just sit back and think, like, we've been doing this for almost 20 years. And yet,
yes,
in that same time, we've changed a lot, as people will over the course of 15 to 20 years.
Of course.
But the game the game fundamentally hasn't. Like, there's mods, right? And there's things that you could do, but, like, at the end of the day, like, people just are like, I want to load up Doom, and I want to go kill zombies, and I want to go kill monsters. You know?
Oh, yeah, Doom's Doom. Doom's Doom, man.
It makes you wonder, like, will Doom outlast us?
Oh, I don't know. I'll be honest.
What?
I that'd be amazing to me, to be honest. Who knows?
All right,
Who
dude.
knows?
I want to bring this up. I've been meaning to bring this up. So
Oh, sir.
I want you to
Yeah.
talk about some of your favorite teams that you've ever had, whether you were the captain or whether you were on the team, whether it be IDL, WDL, DML, any competitive CTF league, ECI, whatever.
Oh, wow.
Because I've got some stories for you. I don't know how much you remember it, but I want to hear some of your favorite teams.
Oh, man. Let me think. Ooh, that's a good question. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I kind of put you on the spot, but
Yeah, you did. Let's see. The one team with I mentioned them, but the one team with Mikhail, Oaf, and Dev was a good time overall. Like,
yeah.
and we were a good team too, but again, it was one of the first seasons where where I actually had to communicate as a team, like in game. So there was that. It was just a fun like locker room per se, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
it like
Camaraderie is real.
right. Like we chatted up about a lot of stuff. Like overall it was a good time. And like and it got heated sometimes too. Like,
oh, dude.
but at the same time, we had a great time. Like, I remember like one week. Like, I was coming home from college actually. We actually had a game that night, and and the thing was like, my parents had me go out. I already was coming home from college, but we had to go out for like some stuff.
Right.
And the game had to be put back like 50 minutes. I come on chat, and Dale's like, "Where the hell have you been?" I had to explain the whole thing. Like,
so
it was crazy. I was big. That was crazy.
So go
ahead.
I could go on about my favorite teams, but I want to talk about the one. I don't know how much you remember it. It probably took years off of your life. So you did draft me on an ECI team, but I wasn't really around a lot for that team because I had just come back. That was last year.
Right.
I'm good at Doom again, by the way. Like, I'm not bad anymore.
Good to hear.
But if you remember, we were on this. You drafted me for that team where IDL was on Zandronum.
Yep, I do.
You drafted me, Saber. I don't remember who our fourth was.
I drafted Junior, Sword, Grunt. See, I didn't actually draft Saber. I think I actually wait. Did I draft?
It was me.
No,
me and Saber wanted the same. We were. I don't know if you got him like through trade.
Oh no! I traded Junior for Saber. That's what happened.
Okay.
That's what happened.
So, I gotta be honest with you, man. I'm apologizing because Saber and I had no intention of ever taking that seriously. We were like, listen, okay.
Oh, you were busy that.
Yeah.
You were gonna come on until midnight. I remember that.
And like, we were like, how are we gonna troll Ty and make him like rage? And we found out that for whatever reason, I don't know if you were just like operating on like some shitbox or like some old laptop from like 1982. But if we put animated GIFs in the TeamSpeak lobby, because those would be global, no matter what channel you went in, you would see that. It was you were like, it's making me lag out. It's making me lag out. And like, there were a couple of times where in practice you crashed because of it. And we would just fucking lose it.
Oh my god.
And we were just like, how are we going to fuck with Ty today? Like, we would try. We took things seriously. But the fucking best one was we were playing against Bones' team on old A's Boppin' Bass or whatever, you know.
God, I hate that, man.
And there was something going on with your internet. And we had Sword. And you just kept DCing. And you finally got back in. And you were just like... I'll never forget. You were just like, put Sword in! And like, you just fucking DC'd right after that. And we just started laughing because you were just like, you couldn't even stay connected. So Sword came in and we played this great game against Bones' team. We ended up tying them. because Sword, we had the flag and we won the standoff. In like the last minute, but instead of running into our base and scoring, Sword was like right at mid. He ran back into their base.
The hell?
Dude, that whole season was just full of fuckery. Like, we were like, we're just going to troll. We're not going to take the season very seriously. But like, the funny thing is I like look back on that. It's like, dude, if we took that seriously, we probably win that year.
Yeah, we probably do.
Like, we were just so, we
made playoffs. I know that.
Did we? I
we
thought
would have made playoffs. We did not.
Yeah, I was gonna.
It came out to the final week.
Yeah, it did. That's the whole fucking shenanigans that happened where I got pissed about the Super Shotgun not working, and I blew the fuck up about it, and I had a big blowout that chased me away from Doom for a good 3 years or so.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Oh man, that was bad. I talked about that in the first podcast because that's when Rust and I had gotten into it really bad, and Rust and I didn't speak for a long time because of that. But the short end of it was I was being a jackass about it, and I wasn't happy with how if you remember, if you used, I think it was 500 hertz or more for your report rate on your mouse, sometimes for whatever reason your shot would not budge. Like, you would click to shoot and it just would not shoot. And we were playing against Legion's team on Caboose's, that one map with the where you would run 2D, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was Caboose's like first map that he ever put out. And we were playing against Legion's team, and we whooped their ass the first round.
Damn. Isolation? Is that the name of it?
I think it was Isolation. I think that's the name of it. And I mean, we fucked them up the first round. Second round, they got us back. They won a close one. So third round, we're like, all right, man, we're gonna go into this. We're feeling good. Close game, and it's tied. There's not a lot of time left. I don't remember the specifics, but I remember that Legion got the flag. You know how you can lower the gate? You can lower the lift that could take you straight out to mid?
Oh my god.
He did it, but I made it out with him. And I had a perfect shot lined up on him. Would have killed him, would have returned the flag.
He missed.
And the gun didn't fire. That bug that I told you about happened. And I don't know how much you remember this, but I lost it. Because what happened is after that gave his backup the chance to come and kill me. And he scored, and they took the lead, and I just, dude, I went nuts. Like, I was just like, that's one of the first times I've like ever done that, and I've definitely gone like, we all have, where we've gone like stupid over shit that happened in, you know, a private game or whatever. But in the middle of a league match, I just started saying like, this port is shit. Why did we come to this port? Fuck Zandronum. Fuck whoever made this. This is the dumbest shit. How can anyone take this seriously? And I was stupid enough to go into the IRC channel after that and still continue to talk. Like, I should have just shut the fuck up and left, because then it wouldn't have been so bad. But nah, man.
Oh, man.
Nah, I'm a glutton for punishment. I had to go in and get my last words in. And it was just like the whole fucking IDL channel just like jumped on my back after that. And there were some pretty bad things that were said to me. There were some really like off the cuff shit that people shouldn't say. Like somebody, and I'm not going to name who, but somebody said something to the effect of, you know, your kids would be better off fostered than having you as a dad. Yeah, like shit like that, where it was like,
that's retarded. And
that's when it's like, that's why I like felt some type of way about it with people like Rust and stuff. Where I'm like, dude, you see these people saying shit like this? Like, why are you even still arguing with me? Like, whatever. Like, it was dumb. It was dumb of me to blame him for that. But I'm not saying it's my fault that someone said something like that. That's inexcusable. But that's what like chased me away. That's why I disappeared. And then I went back to school. And then the pandemic happened, and I came back. And
funny how that works, right?
Dude, like, it's crazy how active it was. Like, Doom just blew up after the pandemic. Well, in the middle of the pandemic, and we're kind of like still riding off of that.
Oh yeah, fortunately.
So what's going on in the last 5 years in Doom? Because I mean, I was gone, so I only have what people tell me.
Past 5 years. See the thing. Let's see. I think for 2000. I think like we say 5 years, 2016. I know WDL was in its early seasons. Like, believe it or not, like I don't think I think I did like the first 2 seasons, and I'll be honest, I think Bones like kept like kept PMing me, Ty, you gonna join? Ty, you gonna join? I think he started sending messages, WDL Ty, and then at the last minute I joined. I think the first season was as a player, got drafted by Water, and we were a loaded team, and we won that. Second season, I joined on Zakin's team as a player. We went to finals, and I think at that point I said, you know what, next time I'll just join as a captain. So and you see, the back season I had last time, the one before 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that was trying to think what else like from CTF standpoint. I think that's all I can remember like back then, because I think after those first 2 WDL seasons as a player, I think I kind of dropped off myself. I'm not even sure when DML started, to be honest. I think sometime between that and now was when DML was starting to come around. Like, I think DML, CCA, like, that's DML's governing body, whatever you want to call it. That was starting to get underway.
Mm-hmm.
And they host their own events, like the, what's it called? DCWC. We like have pre-made teams already, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the thing. I think over the few years, like we've like people like to like everyone's credit, they've tried to like build Doom like the quote unquote competitive community back together. If that makes sense. Like I think I give like a lot of guys like a lot of credit, like Bones with MDF, Zakin with ZCA. It's funny too, Zakin. Like, you gotta say, I think he rage quit IDL if you remember that, and I wasn't sure what was gonna happen to him after that, and for him to go through that and come and basically make what ZCA is today, it's crazy.
Yeah, the rift between the MDF and the ZCA, I think, is pretty unfortunate. I definitely know like all of us are kind of responsible for making things worse, especially with the Tom D beams.
Yeah, I didn't love that too.
Some of that shit was just.
Still not sure what happened there. Like, what the hell?
Shit is just so. It's so dumb, but it's so funny to me. So I just go in there and I'll randomly post. I've got nothing against Zakin. I don't know why Ralph and Bones. They have their reasons to not get along with him, and that's fine. That's their reasons. Me personally, the guy's never done it. In fact, it's been the opposite. He's only ever tried to help me with stuff. When I came back in 2017, he actually helped me when I ran that D5M1 tournament. Like, he did the brackets for me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like, he was really helpful then. So, I don't have anything personally against him. I think he's egotistical. I think he does things for his own self-interest.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Like, it's like, you know, but, like, I don't give a shit. Like, it doesn't bother me. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't have any desire to compete in any ZCA stuff because they just kind of do things that I'm not interested in. Like, I thought about doing DML, but then I saw, like, all the maps that you were going to have to play, and I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to do that. Like, that's doing too much. And I definitely wasn't ready when the DML ran this season to come back. Yeah, there was a point this season with how poorly I played in the WDL last season. I really went through like I think I'm done doing anything competitive. And then it was like, yeah, because I was bad, man. When I left last time, it took me like a good year to get it back, and I was only off for a year. And then it got to okay, you know, let's play in this event. Let's play in this small event. And I was mapping out. I was really focusing on knocking out Prague 3 with Rust and Strangle and Dragon. Although Dragon
that's right.
Yes, he wasn't super involved with us, but he made a couple of maps. So we were from basically August until about early December. I was all in on that. And
Nice.
You know, we did a lot of play testing. So naturally, I'm playing a lot again, right? So I didn't realize it, but like fuck, I was getting it back. I was getting better. And then we played in the I played in the Odomex tournament that I hosted. that had
Was it Lazarus?
the Lazarus tournament that you got to the finals in.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
And I got bodied by Nexus, but I wasn't mad because I was like, I didn't even practice at all. That was my fault. But I was just like, instead of being like discouraged by that, I was like pissed. I was like, fuck, that's not how I would have put on a performance. Like, that was stupid. I didn't play well at all. I played like shit. But I was like, but I didn't practice. Like, what do I expect? And he's a good player. And he went on to win, right? So like clearly he's good.
Beat me finals.
Yeah. And so after that, we had MDF did a 2v2 TDM. And
that's right.
It was
I remember that.
Yeah, for Prague 3. And Russ and I played against Disparel and Dragon in the finals. I was like, dude, I didn't even think we were going to get to the finals. We fucking got to the finals. And we almost won. Like it was nuts. And I was like, wait, like, I could do this. Like, I got this. And then the new Odobex beta, I got a chance to test that out. And I'm just like, holy fuck, the mouse is so much better. And I realized that one of my biggest problems was that my sensitivity was just way too high. So I like cranked my sensitivity down. I started doing a bunch of shoot with Jake and Densoa. And then the organ grinder event happened where Dev came to me and said, hey, I want to play you in this.
Oh, that's right.
And I really like grinded out for a couple of days there. And I was like, oh shit, I'm good at Doom again. Cool. So I went from, yeah, I'm definitely done. I'm definitely retiring to, I'll give it one more shot to, you know what? I'm just going to keep playing until I just don't want to. So that's kind of where I am. I feel like that's where you've been like the last 20 years. I have a nickname for you. I call you Mr. Reliable, and I mean that because I feel like, dude, you will show up no matter what. Let there be a Doom event, Ty will fucking be there.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, it's like, is that a compliment?
No.
Like, do you take that as...
Thank you. No, I do. Like...
Yeah, like, sorry, I went on a whole soliloquy there, but yeah, go ahead.
No, it's cool. Yeah, like I said, I do like Doom. Like, I think that's just part of it. I'll say this, too, like, I remember when, forget it, I think it was, like, WL Season 2, and it made me think, because I think there was, like, who was it? I don't know if I should say his name or not, but he was, like, so there was this player, like, he was talking about how, like, it's a mid-tier player, like, he was talking about how he wasn't enjoying Doom, right, or something like that. Like, another player was, like, trying to play psychiatrist, or, like, oh, like, so like, let's just say you win Doom, you win, like, WDL, because it was WDL we were playing, what would you do? And he was, like, the player was like, oh, gee, I don't know. You know what I mean? I think, and it kind of made me think a little too, like, again, I'm competitive. I love winning. I hate losing. But at the end of the day, like, part of the reason I come back through event was because I like Doom. Like, if it were just to quote unquote win, I don't know if I would have been here as long as I did. Like I got one IDL early, so it wasn't like, I hadn't won. Like, ideally I wish I won a second IDL class WDL season as a captain, because I did win the first WDL as a player. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know if you can last this long in this league if you don't genuinely enjoy Doom. Like, especially now, because there's so much other crap, so much other stuff to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. Like, that's always been the way I see it. Like,
you have found the way to not be burnt out, I think, is the best way to say it. I'm not saying you don't, like, deal with burnout, but like me, and I know a lot of guys, like, we're ultra competitive, and maybe you hit the nail on the head there. Like, we're so obsessed and focused on winning that we don't stop to just enjoy playing Doom. Because I can tell you, man, like, between 2010 and 2012, those 4.5 IDL seasons that I played, I was a captain of the EBL team for 4 seasons. It was unhealthy. Like, the way I obsessed about playing. Like, I was, like, you had mentioned that you had won, early on.
Right.
I was chasing that, like, and I got it. But I remember when I got it, like, it felt flat. It didn't even feel like anything. Like, it was like, oh, okay, I got it, cool. But I think that's because by the time I did, like, I was so focused and narrow-minded on this one objective. And that it took so much to get there. And I was so burnt out on it that I didn't even care anymore. That's why when the next season we went to Odomex, I genuinely didn't give a shit. And I think that's true. I think you're right. Like, I think the attitude is I never stopped to just enjoy it. I don't know. You tell me, like, you've obviously survived burnout.
No, I think that's definitely part of it. At the end of the day, I still like again, like, I'll yell at someone like, "Where's the mid?" Like, I'm sure you've seen that video with.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck, Maine?
Yeah, but that's just. I think that's you as a competitor. Like, let's talk about that.
Right. Go ahead. Right.
Go ahead. Go talk about it. Defend yourself.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, because we got all the memes like, "Where's the mid? Where's the mid? Junior, return the flag, Junior."
Like, oh my god.
But
I forget that guy.
Oh, I think he should be forgotten. Let's be honest, dude. And then he came back under the same name.
Oh my god. I'll be honest. I thought he didn't make it out of jail or whatever. Like.
Oh yeah, like you were like you thought he was gonna die in jail.
Something like that.
Most people who get convicted for what he got convicted of don't come out unscathed.
Oh my god.
We're not gonna get into that.
Yeah. No. It's fine.
I'm gonna avoid that one. This is my PG podcast. Check the Doom After Dark for the non. Check that one. If I'm on that one, we'll talk about rated R stuff. But this one, I'm not getting into that.
Sounds good, man. I'm good with that.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, we make fun of you, but I don't think it's like a bad thing. I don't think we're making fun of you in mean spirit. I think it's just more of like a testament to how influential you are, like, and how much people enjoy being around you.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Doom feels right if Ty is there. That's the way I look at it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I kind of put you on the spot there, but...
No, I'm not even sure what the question was. Like, we said talk about being competitive, like...
I'm not sure there was. It's just kind of reflecting on how you have become a meme status, but like a legendary one.
Well, okay. I talked to you about the mid thing. So how far can I go?
Go as far as you need to.
Okay, so I think back in, like, again, the ultra competitive PIV scene, there's this player named Chaotix who was, and this is like the high lefty thing. I think most people may know, like, early on, like, I was an aggressive player. Like, if I thought I had a chance, I'd go for the flag, or I'd at least push up a lot.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, sometimes I got scored on. And I think Chaotix had started it. He had said, "Ooh, Ty left D." And, yeah, exactly.
Sorry, man, it's so good.
Yeah, and I think it became its own thing. I remember one time that really did get to me. I'll be honest. It was actually on a pub game. It was actually on ZDCTF. I want to say 07.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That.
With the lift where you bring it down and there's a plasma in the middle.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And like it was like 1 minute left. I tried to move up, try to help. I think I was just trying to help a player get who I thought was going to be at middle. And I guess someone was hiding in the corner, saw me go by. It might have been Chaotix, but either way, he saw me go by. He goes in, and he ended up scoring, I guess. But get the thing, and of course, Chaotix would say, "Ooh, Ty left D." And I think what frustrated me about that is, if you know that map, like, it's a long ass way to get into the base.
It's hard to score too. Like, you need, you need to move up. No, you're good.
Right.
I'm just emphasizing what you're saying, man. Like, you're right.
Right. And the idea that he was, like, pinning that just on me when I kind of knew, like, it kind of pissed me off, like, to be honest. Like, again, okay, I can be aggressive sometimes. It gets me in trouble, but you kind of knew it. I kind of knew I was being targeted. And it didn't feel right it didn't feel the same as the other times he did it. You know what I mean?
Sometimes that shit goes too far, I think.
Right.
I've definitely seen it go too far.
Right. I think at some point in his career, if he changed his name to D Ty or something like that, I forget how he put it. And I remember Strango changed his name to just Ty Left D, and I was both of them at the same time. Oh, it pissed me off. And I think that's where's the mid manifested from. I don't even know how. I don't even know if a specific time that happened. But it became. I think it started becoming this back and forth crap like, oh, Ty Left D, and I'd be like, oh, well, fine, but where's the mid? I don't get any mid help. What?
Yeah, man, it's a funny thing. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing, and I think you're definitely a great. But that's just a style, right? Like, especially if you're just like tired of waiting on your O to produce anything. Like, I've definitely been on teams where it's like, all right, fuck this. Like, I'm gonna have to just try and do it myself. If we get scored on, we get scored on. But yeah, it's
right,
whatever.
Of course.
That's just play style differences. I think it's that, and then the face where it's like the D colon. I don't. How did that even? Like, what's the root of that? Like, why is
Oh my god. Okay. You know what? I'm not. That's a thing. I don't even know the exact thing that it came to be. I think I remember one. I think I remember one time. Guys. Okay. I think I remember one time I had. Someone was talking about something. I don't even remember what. And I think I had said, "Oh, I'm a nigga," and I and I said it with that face, and I think it just took off from there. I kid you not. I wish I could. I wish I could say I was kidding. I think it just took off from there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think I said it in the server once, and I think the server just went ballistic.
But did they not realize you're black, or like what?
I don't know. I think I said that with the face. You know what I mean? I think it was a combination. If I had just said the face, because the thing is, I'll say the face. There's sometimes where I would just say the face itself. I think Junior just didn't get it. I think he thought it was an actual sad face. I had to like, slap my forehead like, oh god, like, you know what I mean? But the guys that got it, like, I thought it was a fun little thing for a little. Like, it's not like it was before.
Yeah, that shit was funny, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where, funny enough, my season I won the Master Bowl, that's where D colons came from.
Yeah.
It came from that. But I think that's how it started from. Why I just said, oh, I'm a nigga with the face, and I think it just is its own thing that took off from took a life of its own from there. Like
dude, why the fuck did Natural always used to call you Tia? And like, do you remember? Do you remember that Z-Name forum post where he just said Ty in all caps? He's like, I just heard you're leaving. Wanted to catch up with you.
Oh my god.
Dude, they would not let you. So they ended up combining that with the face. So it just, every time someone would see you, it would just be like Ty in all caps with the fucking face. And it's just like, I just think of like all these ridiculous things. And like, none of these things you have tried to have brought onto you, and yet here we are, like, bestowing you with this honor.
I know, right?
You're like the meme king that never tried to be.
Oh my god. I guess
I'm so sorry.
No, I know. It's not a big deal.
It's like, yeah, man, like, it's...
If you're in the server long enough, if you're in the community long enough, that happens, right? I don't know.
Yo, you fucking... Oh, dude, listen. There are much worse things that could have been... Well, I'm sure you've heard pretty bad things, but...
Of course.
But, like, if that's the worst of it, I think you're doing okay, but... I mean, let me ask you about that. And if this is something you're uncomfortable with, like, please tell me. And we don't even have to get into it. As I mentioned earlier, you know, we all know that you're black.
Uh-huh.
And there's not a lot of black Doom players.
Yeah, I noticed.
I've definitely seen and heard some racist shit in the community. I don't think it's as prevalent now. I think that's more just kind of, I guess, a thing of the times. But, like, Have you ever had to deal with any issues because of that?
Thankfully, not as all things considered. I don't think it's. I don't think it's like, at least in the Doom community. I think all things considered, I don't think it's been as bad as it potentially could have been. I think I've had a thing where like, I think it was like an FN. I think it was an FNF game. You know what I'm saying? Friday night, Frag nights.
Yeah.
It was fun back in the day. But I think one event, some guy came in called the Negro Hunter, and he just stalked me all game. Like it was like, I think it was like a LMS, last man standing game.
Mm-hmm.
So he would like stalk me and kill me, and I think then himself get killed. So it wasn't even like he was trying to win. I think I remember him killing me once and then just jumping into a lava pool. I was like, dude, what the hell? And I never figured out who it was, obviously. I think that's the worst it got. I think I'll say it. I remember Ed being asked to me back in the day, like in into like early Zandronum era. I don't know if that was just because I was black or something else, but I think I've been fortunate. I don't think I've ever had to deal with like, what's the word, like explicit racism. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, you're black, I'm gonna go after you. I'm gonna make your life miserable just because of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I just, it's one of those things I just had thought about it as we were talking about it, but it's like, I've heard some people's, not about you specifically, but I've definitely seen some pretty colorful language, and the N-word has definitely been dropped a few times, and I'm not talking about the one that ends with the soft A. I'm talking about the one that ends with that hard ER.
Right.
Mostly it was older guys, from what I remember. And to be honest with you, I think the good thing is like, you have a lot of respect and people respect you a lot. So I think fortunately nobody has gotten too comfortable and is like, all right, like that gives me the right to kind of talk to him however I want. So that's a good thing. Because I've definitely seen some stuff like that with some other communities that I've been a part of with we knew a black dude in some of the other games I played, and I've seen some shit where it's just like, yo, chill out, like you can't fucking say that and stuff like that. And I guess it's a good thing. I guess it's a good thing that like that hasn't happened. I'd almost like expect you to be like, nah, I've heard all this shit, but I just ignore it.
I mean, I think people have made like some like quote unquote playful. I don't know what to say playful, but they've made like some jokes, some black-related jokes, but nothing like outright like harassment or something like that. Just because I'm black, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people said stuff, but people say stuff all the time. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
So.
Well, if anyone would know, it'd be you, right? Like,
right.
Because people definitely will talk shit to you, but it's mostly just Thai lefty and Wortham mid.
Right, exactly.
Look, man, I got to be honest with you though. I said this earlier on, as we're about to start wrapping up here.
Sure.
I think so. I've never told you this.
Okay.
Because we've never been super close, right? Like we've been around, we know each other, we respect each other. A lot of mutual things there. But I do have to just outright say, like, I have a fuck ton of respect for you. Because of what you are in the community, what you've meant to the community. And yeah, like you've had some blow up moments like all of us, but I think people like you are the backbone of this community. Because you show up, you play, you don't complain, you don't get too dramatic, you don't make a big deal out of shit. It's just like, it just rolls off you, and you don't hold anything, you don't hold on to anything. And I think if the community had more people like you, we'd be way better off. So I mean that, I'm not saying that, well, I am saying that because you're here, but but I mean that because I got, that's why I wanted to have you on, because I do think you're unappreciated. I think players like you are, you're everywhere, man. Like, you help with the ZCA. You've helped with, I know you've done help. You're always a captain for whatever league Ralph or Bones runs. Like they literally say, "Well, we could count on Ty. He'll be here."
I'll be honest. I can't tell you how many times I get asked, "Hey, Ty, you gonna join this? You got a captain for us? You got a captain for us?" I'm like, "Oh God, I'll think about it."
But then you end up doing it. And look,
exactly. Right.
And look, last season you got to the finals, and in my mind, you guys should have won.
I hated that.
But it's whatever, man. Like I gotta say that, and I'm glad that I had the chance to have you on. We kind of just sat here and bullshitted for 2 hours, but whatever. Like, I feel like I found out more. Like, it was a lot like this when I did a podcast with Nautilus. Like, it's the same thing. Like, I've always known of you, and we've had passing conversations, and we have some sort of shared history together, but nothing extensive.
Yeah, I know.
And to like talk to you and like hear like some of your stories, it's just like, yo, it's so fucking cool. Like the natural stuff. I don't know how you put up with natural, man. Like that shit must have been, dude. I am convinced that they were the greatest trolls of all time.
Oh, they were something.
Dude, like prove me wrong. Go ahead, man, because I need to hear it.
I don't know. I don't know how to put it. Like, I mean, I think they reveled in it to an extent. I'll say, like, I don't think this.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, like I said, like we got into it with DUI. We got. I don't know if the day when they weren't afraid to get into it with per se.
Nah, man, nobody.
My God, it was a great time,
dude. The best,
man.
Do you ever miss it?
What, TC or
no? Just those times in general.
Oh, a little. I mean, a little. I mean, again, it got way too. I'll say that at the end, that got way too tenuous. Like when I couldn't play on DUI server just because I was on TC.
I remember that. Like, that was fucking stupid.
I know. Yeah. Like, do I miss those times in general? I mean, again, the community was much more active. Lands mattered much more then than they do now. So yeah, of course I missed that part. But what that also meant was you would sometimes way too deep into it, like that part.
Right.
And I'm glad, like. And I feel like there's less danger for that now. And to a degree, as an older guy, that's not the worst thing in the world. That's not the worst thing in the world. Like even us being in R, like you know what I mean. I feel like it's just not as intense as it was back.
God, no. Well, we're not unstable like teenagers anymore either.
Right.
Dealing with some unstable adults, although there are some unstable adults in the Doom community. We know that much.
Oh, of course.
But yeah, man. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know.
Right. Like I said, was it a great time? Absolutely. For the most part, absolutely. But I feel like that was that time,
Yeah, it just is what it is. So, all right, man. So here's the deal. It's late as fuck. We are doing this. We gotta let everybody know that we are so committed to this podcast that we started this fucking podcast at like 1 a.m.
I know.
And it's 2:39 right now. We've been going for almost 2 hours.
Holy crap.
But like it's like it just I didn't even notice it, man. Like it was cool to just catch up with you and talk to you. I definitely intend to have you on in the future at some point.
Sure.
Cuz
Yeah,
just and I've got some plans to do stuff with like group podcasts and stuff, and I definitely think you'd be a lot of fun there too. So before we close this out, like, what you got going on? Anything going on that we should know about? Mega Man stuff? You want to spill your heart out about Mega Man or?
Oh my God, Mega Man. The funny part is, I don't play that half as much as I used to. Like, if I don't know if I want to go outside Doom, but one of the things I started to finally be able to I've been playing Doom like forever. Right. I love Doom, but I think one of the things especially the pandemic, maybe partially because of the pandemic, one of the things I've been able to finally do is get into other games. Like, I was telling you about this tournament I was doing before we did the podcast, Twinkle Star Sprites. Like, that's a game I've been trying to get into. It's fun as hell shoot 'em up game. Very cutesy, but I'll be honest about that. But fun as hell. I'm kind of decent at it. I actually got fourth place in it, so
nice, dude. Nice.
Been doing that. I've been playing like this. What's it called? You might know Tetris Attack.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. So I've been playing like the Windows version called Piano Attack.
Mm-hmm.
They've had like monthly tournaments that I've been doing, and again, I've been playing that game. I first started playing Tetris Attack when it first came out for the SNES, like back. I think I was 8 years old, so
yeah,
it's good to be able to get back into that. So
Tetris is fun, man. That's the shit.
Oh yeah. I think it's called Puzzle League now. It's not like Tetris, but either way. Oh, I've kind of got into Tetris a little. I did a tournament or two. I'm not nearly as good at that game as I am like Puzzle League or King of Star Strikes, but you know what I mean? I think that's the thing I've started doing, like trying to get into other games like that. And I think because of that, it's helped me like see Doom from a different lens. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm just doing Doom all the time. I played some other games before, like back when I was younger, but not like I'm doing now. And I like it. You know what I mean?
It makes you appreciate it more, I think.
Of course.
I think so.
Of course.
So, all right, man. Well, let's go ahead and close this off. I want everybody to just shout out to Ty. Big ups to you, man. Thanks for coming on. So go ahead and tell the whole world goodbye and fuck off or whatever you want to tell them.
All right. See ya, Nublets. Till next time or something.
Perfect. Big shout out to Ty. Really glad I got to have him on. It's always really cool to catch up with people like him, man, because he's just such a cool dude, and we could just sit there and sit back and talk for hours and really not say anything, but thoroughly enjoy the conversation. It's really, for me, it's really fulfilling to be able to talk to somebody who walked a really similar path to me, because neither Ty or I were ever guys that were politically involved in the Doom community. We just wanted to play. We just wanted to compete. And I gotta tell you, I have so much respect for him. I'm so fucking glad I had him on. The amount of gratitude that I have for players like him that just show up for events, that just promote activity. He is what is right with the Doom community. And I think if we had more ties in the Doom community, we'd have significantly less problems. So, okay, that's going to do it for this week's podcast with Ty. Now, next week, I'm going to have on a special guest, Dew, who I don't know very well, and I'm not going to lie, at times I've even had clashes with in the past. However, Dew has a very interesting perspective on the European competitive Doom scene, and in particular, the European Z-Daemon scene, where there's a lot of drama and bullshit about how the history of that was erased. Dew also has a lot of knowledge on the game in general, and he also has got his ear to the ground on the speedrunning community. So I'm looking forward to our conversation that we're going to have about that and some of the other things that we may talk about. So, you know what, guys? That's it for today. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.